Oh, are we on? Well, that was awesome. Where were my little countdown buttons? Welcome, entrepreneurial clinicians. This is private practice. And that little hiccup in the beginning of what's going on kind of sets the tone and the mood for how my day has been today. Have you ever had one of those days where, crazy hair, where you were very sure about what you needed to get completed? And you had it all mapped out and all set out, and then all these little, seemingly little things, and you kind of go, I'll just do that, I'll just do that, I'll just do that, I'll just do that. And then all of a sudden, none of the big things feel like they're getting done. That's been my day. So I feel like I'm going to be at my desk for a little while longer today, which is okay, because tomorrow afternoon I need to stop working. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you who commented and sent me messages of encouragement. To those of you who heard me on my episode yesterday talking about the fact that I don't have a lot of positive cancer stories to reflect upon. And I had a few of those sent to me yesterday and overnight, and I really appreciate them. And I appreciate you and appreciate the fact that you want to support and encourage and be a part of this journey with me. I tell you what, it makes it a little easier. Makes it a heck of a lot easier. So I did a vomity thing today. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. For my private practice and my speaking and my writing, LinkedIn is a huge source of PR opportunities for me. But I feel very naked when I go to LinkedIn, especially around this really personal stuff. But I created a video specific for my LinkedIn audience, specifically talking into Purple Co and my private practice, and got the awesome Nicola to tell me that it was a great video and that she felt assured and confident about what I was talking about and how the service, how Purple Co is going to exist, whether I'm around 100% or not. So that's been a bit nerve-wracking today as well. Now, there are a few people who have reached out to me probably since February who have been asking, how do you get yourself organized to cope with such a big interruption? And I didn't want to talk into it in terms of my health, because we've all been dealing with massive interruption with what COVID presented to us. But I thought it was interesting to reflect on this today. And I wanted to talk into how I have been working towards getting my business to the point where it can operate without me. And I've had some practice at that now. Last year, when I went to Europe and was out of the business for about 6 weeks, the business grew, and I'm not needed 100% of the time. When I first started this practice, it was me. It was all about me for a really long period of time, until I learnt how to market, learnt how to sell, learnt how to embrace the fact that I can't do it all, and that there were people who wanted to partner with me. So one of the precious things that being responsible for your own private practice gives us is being responsible and having opportunity, and then having freedom of choice when situations arise that kind of can come out of left field or knock us for six. But it's about making sure that you've got really solid foundations that allow you to keep doing what you're doing. This is one of the things that really concerns me about a lot of clinicians in private practice who have essentially created a job for themselves, where if they don't go out and see clients and get paid a transaction, client pay, take home money. If they're not thinking about insurance or wealth creation or alternative sources of income, then you get to a point where an illness or an injury or the need for a vacation, which we should all be taking, or the extra training you might want to do, it becomes something that you resent. And then your work becomes something that you resent. And then your clients become something that you resent. And then you start to feel like you're failing and that you can't cut it, when really what's happening is you are starting to ask different questions, which is, how much more of this can I do? Are there other ways of doing this? Why am I so tired all the time? So I don't have a concern that my business will fail because I got sick with cancer. I built this and if I built it once, I can build it again. And for me, being able to say that and do that gives me so much more reassurance and freedom and sense of peace. Because if I had a cancer diagnosis and needed to go to an employer and say, hey, I might need 6 months off work, I don't know whether I would still have a job. If I tried to go back to work and tried to work at 100% performance when I really wasn't doing that well, what would that do to my health? Now, fortunately, there are awesome companies like Purple Co that help people experiencing injury, illness, and trauma to negotiate true flexible working conditions while they're recovering. So I feel like I've got a little bit of knowledge there. But it still doesn't take away from the burden of an employer. If you had somebody who said, I can't guarantee I'm going to be present for 6 months, I can't guarantee I'm going to be productive for 6 months, would you want that person in your business? So having my own practice and being able to build it the way I want to build it based on the values that are important to me has allowed me to go, I need some recovery time. I've done the hard work. I have gone through really cash-strapped times to make sure I can pay for appropriate insurances. I've gone through really cash-strapped times to make sure I can pay for employees rather than everybody being a subcontractor. I have put myself out there in very vulnerable and uncomfortable ways to make sure that our marketing and referral processes work and that our relationships are so solid that me becoming unwell and needing chemotherapy now becomes a community recovery effort, not just Joe doing it in isolation behind a closed door. So to all of you who are wondering, how do you get yourself organized for this? How do you prepare for this? How do you put risk management in place so that a serious illness doesn't sideswipe you? Well, this is how you do it. You do it by making sure that you have the fundamentals of your income. You've got to start with, how much money do I need brought in to keep myself afloat, to keep my family afloat, to serve my clients the way I want to serve them. So I can't strongly enough ask you to please consider what it would take for you to need 3 months out of your business. Now, if that meant you just closed your doors for 3 months and you allowed all your referrals and all your clients to be serviced by other people so that you could just have 3 months of recovery time, that's awesome. Because if you felt able to do that, chances are you feel confident to be able to restart your practice at the end of that time, whether it's 3 or 6 or 12. I think what's difficult for us is that we get caught up in not reviewing our returns on investment, not reviewing our insurances, making our business still all about us, even though we've got other people around. I can assure you where I've run out of money and when I've run out of energy and when I've run out of faith in what I'm doing, it's when I've not had enough diversity in income streams. We lost 60% one year in revenue because a customer I was doing all this work for one customer, and then that customer and I had a falling out. That wasn't helpful. The next time this happened, I changed my business model without thinking about the implications. So I went from a 100% subcontractor model to a hybrid of contractor employee, and I just assumed it would work, and I didn't think about the on costs of that employee. I haven't reviewed my return on investment, particularly around marketing spend. And then, of course, there's the good old-fashioned FOMO, where I want to do all the things that all the other people are doing all the time and don't stick to my strategic plan. And those are the things that have derailed me in my business over the last 10 years. Those are the things that have brought me so close to going, oh, we might not be eating this week. Or, oh my gosh, my reputation is going to be so poor that nobody will want to speak to me ever again. And then we all know the story. I become homeless, my husband leaves me, and all of that catastrophizing that goes on. So my encouragement to you today is, if you are well and healthy, then this is the perfect time for you to be thinking about what it would be like to not be well and healthy, and what decisions do you want to be able to make when you're not well and healthy. So I am so grateful that I engaged a broker back in 2013 to help me get the right insurance for me. Now, it might not be the insurance. It's about asking yourself the questions. What do I want to be able to do? Because this is tough. I cannot, the guilt of feeling like I am letting everybody down, my husband, my son, my team members, like I know I'm not, but that's still there. It's still innate in me. It's still a thing that comes up. So intellectually I can go, wait, that's unnecessary and not helpful. But you know, as an emotional human, having a human experience, I can still feel all of that guilt and that pressure. It's unhelpful. But if I had on top of that super pressure about, oh my God, I have 6 employees who are relying on me because I'm the only person who is doing the marketing. And if I don't generate 50% of the revenue in this business, which was the story only 2 years ago, I would be a nervous wreck. I would not be feeling okay about finishing work at midday tomorrow, Thursday. So another bit of a rambly episode today, but I think it's important that we talk about these issues, especially at the moment, because I know there are people in this community who are unwell, and I want to make sure that we can keep doing this work. And it's not just the absence of illness, it's about making sure we're fit for purpose. But then some of us are going to have an illness or some sort of event that occurs that stops us from being able to work the way we've been working. And I want to give you some tools and tactics and ideas on how you can speak to yourself, how you can analyze, how you can bring people around you to help you make wise decisions, both for the immediate future, for the short-term future, but also your long-term goals. And that might mean you need to ask some pretty uncomfortable and difficult questions. And that's okay, because if you don't do it when you're healthy and well, you'll certainly be doing it when you're unhealthy and unwell, and then that will just be miserable. So how about you take advice from Joe today, and if you are well and healthy, start asking yourself, how do you want to be? What choices do you want to have if it gets to the point where you're not well enough to work? So tomorrow afternoon, I am going straight from the office to an education session at the hospital. I won't be here for This is Private Practice Live, but I have an awesome guest episode for you. I'm really thrilled that this one's come through. So look forward to that. See how we're going on Friday with chemo. I might give you a bit of an update from chemo. We'll see how we're going. But until I talk to you again, go be your awesome self.